When you need to know what's happening right here in the Merrimack Valley, the only place to turn is 980 WCAP. Everybody gets it.
Good morning, listeners, and welcome back to the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions Radio Show with Ron Couming of both RCS Technology Solutions and RCS Online Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients. The purpose of this show is to bring on subject matter experts from around the world who will help business owners and entrepreneurs, or those who are seeking to become business owners and entrepreneurs, learn some strategies and steps to avoid the pitfalls that all of us face when we're first starting out. Our first guest today is Chris Salem, and he is an accomplished life and business strategist, world-class speaker, and an award-winning author. He is also a certified mindset expert. He's also a radio show host and wellness advocate, partnering with sports celebrities, athletes, and retired players to have sustainable success at the next level by resolving the root causes to mindset barriers. There's much more to Christopher Salem, but I'm going to let him tell us more about himself. Chris, good morning.
Hey, Ron. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. Where are you calling in from?
I'm calling in from Danbury, Connecticut, so not too far from Massachusetts.
Absolutely. I'm actually calling in from Florida. I'm trying to
you're
avoid...
in Florida. Okay. You're in a better place.
Yeah, I came down here a couple of weeks ago, but I call in from wherever, you know. So that's excellent. So tell us a little bit more. I read a little bit of your bio because I didn't want to read the whole...
the athletes, I do work with athletes, but I also work with entrepreneurs, business leaders, sales professionals, anybody that's desiring to have sustainable success at the next level, or for any reason have hit a plateau or stuck in some area of their business. This can also include their personal life with their well-being and also their relationships. So I help people to overcome limited mindset beliefs by resolving the root cause to the source, so it allows people to operate within the solution rather than manage the problem.
Excellent. And I can't tell you, I mean, there are so many business owners that I talk to that are kind of stuck in what they see as the problems. I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough skill set, I don't have enough, I don't want to say courage, but, to actually take that leap of faith and go forward. So you actually help people overcome some of those things and get to the bottom of what the real issue is?
Absolutely. I mean, I see so many things in life are geared towards putting a Band-Aid on things or managing the problem. And, business can exist that way, but it's never going to be as efficient, as productive, or the ability to really play big, to play big with profits. So in order to do that, you have to operate within the solution. And if you look at a company or an individual, it's their responsibility to make that happen. Nobody can do it for them. But if there is great products and services that are out there that will help as a component to aid with that development, but it's always up to the company or the individual that they want to get to that next level. They have to be able to do it from the solution rather than the problem.
I love it. And you're right. Like I said, so many people get stuck in the problem and don't focus on the solution. What are some of the steps? I mean, how do you help people even realize that they're falling into these habits, because it might seem just natural to some people?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, habits are formed from childhood, and they're very hard to undo. It's what I call a cluttered mindset. So the key first for someone is to be aware they're not where they want to be. And by being aware, it doesn't mean they have to know what the problem is. It's just knowing that they're not where they want to be. And next, they want to accept where they are, but to commit moving forward to embrace a process that's going to allow them to identify the root cause to the source of what's holding them back, and then to eliminate it. So it's awareness, then acceptance. And the process that I go about in helping that people change their habits and disciplines over time and to eradicate the problem is three important steps. I mean, there are others to it as well, but I'm going to give you the three. One is incorporating a organizational type task to your routine every day. So for me, that would be making my bed. Now, I don't make my bed because I'm just looking to make it look neat. I wasn't in the military. It's just something that allows me to get my mindset in the right frame of mind to know that I've accomplished something, so that everything else I do, the priorities that matter in my business and that matter to my customers, I'm able to really be laser focused on that and not to allow certain things, shiny objects or certain other things, distract me from that attention. And the next two are really important. It's the combination of doing daily meditation and journaling. Now, again, you don't have to be a yogi or a monk to meditate, but meditation takes a little time to get used to. And so the key is not to beat yourself up, not to force it. It's just to let yourself be in the moment. 15 minutes very early in the morning. And there are apps out there to help people get into the theta wave state that provide the theta wave tone. There's some background music. So they're like, I call it like training wheels. But the key is over time is to do this on your own. And then after you meditate, you want to be able to journal exactly what comes to mind. You don't want to overanalyze it, overthink it. Just write what comes to mind and how you feel. The reason why you do that is over time, you're able to identify, because the subconscious mindset over time will reveal the problem to the conscious mindset. And in time, you'll be able to look at those notes like you're looking at yourself from a third-party perspective. So you'll be able to see things that you've never been able to see in yourself. And once you're able to identify where the root cause is, which is usually a parent, father or mother, or some type of authoritative figure, you have the ability now to release it, to forgive them, not only for them, but for yourself. And again, it doesn't have to be something traumatic. It can be something very subtle. But there's usually something that we carry on from childhood that for some reason does not serve us at a subconscious level. And this is why we continue to do things with those limited beliefs day in, day out.
Wow. How did you get into all this? This is pretty heady stuff.
This was personal experience. I grew up a directionless. I had a father that was not really present in my life. I mean, he was there, but he wasn't there. And I was always seeking validation in a male figure. So at the time, I didn't realize that. But I grew up, always looking for that validation, and I would choose business partners, bosses, even girlfriends that would end up being my father. And of course, the outcome was always the same. I would be disappointed. So I grew up a very angry individual. So I got into a lot of trouble. I battled. I had a period of time where I battled with drugs, alcohol, sexual addiction. And the addiction was just a byproduct of the anger. The anger was the true addiction. And because of that, even though I was able to manage and do somewhat well in sales and in my business, it was never sustainable. And because I would always allow these limited beliefs that came from my father that said I was not good enough to be in my own business. I wasn't good enough to take on bigger responsibilities because I didn't have that validation. I didn't have that approval. And when I couldn't get to where I wanted to be, I would just get angrier and angrier. So in my case, it was very well known that I was angry. But in a lot of cases, people might not even realize that there's really a problem. But there is. It could be passive anger. It could be shame, guilt, jealousy, envy, or any combination thereof. There's usually going to be a negative emotion or negative emotions tied to the root cause. And this is what's working behind the scenes to keep people stuck in their ways. And so what I do is I wrote an international best-selling book, Master Your Inner Critic, Resolve the Root Cause, Create Prosperity, that addresses this based upon personal experience that I went through 20 years ago. And then also outlines certain people that I've coached that have gone through this process to take them to where they were from to where they wanted to be. And this was also featured in a chapter in the recent edition of Jack Canfield's Mastering the Art of Success book that came out last year.
Wow, good for you. So I found that a lot of people, especially in the coaching field, or if that's the correct, a lot of it, for me as an individual, I find more value. I mean, people who went to courses and took studies, I mean, that's great because they learned that part of it. But people who've actually lived it, gone through it, and overcame it, for me as an individual, if I was going to seek a coach or a mentor, that's who I would gravitate towards. Not just, I mean, if somebody takes a test and pass a test, that's great, but somebody who's actually lived it and overcame it, again, for me as an individual, I'm not saying not to go to these other people. I'm just saying that for me as an individual, I find that I can benefit more from them. So in listening to you, and I've also known you for a while, so, you know, I think it's tremendous. I think you have tremendous value to people. If somebody was just starting out in business, and maybe somebody who's just starting out in business, somebody who's been in business for, let's say, 18 months, and then somebody who's been in business for maybe 3 years, they've all had some level of success, or they want to have a level of success. What is some advice you could give them, each one of the three levels, and it's possible that some of the advice could cover all three?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, what I would say is that, you know, everyone's going to have different levels. People could achieve success a little earlier, some takes longer, some people are in between. But what I always recommend is that, you know, it's best to start from a clear mindset. And this is what I call mindfulness. And that why mindfulness is so impactful for sustainable success in business, no matter at what stage you're at. And it's better to operate from within the solution from a mindset standpoint than from the problem. So instead of just plugging it along and just taking some great tips from gurus, which is great, the problem why sometimes those techniques and things that people learn don't really resonate long term is because the problem is still there. They're still operating from that limited belief mindset that is unconscious to them. They don't even realize it. So what my advice would be is to, no matter where you're at this stage, is that, you know, don't put the cart before the horse. Get to the root of the problem. Develop a clear mindset through the process of it, being aware you're not where you want to be, or you want to be at another level. Accept where you are and make the commitment to move forward to operate within the solution. Go through the process of the organizational tasks, the meditation, the journaling, and other things that go along with this process, keeping accountable that will allow you in time to operate within the solution. Because when you have setbacks and challenges, which every entrepreneur will have at any stage in their life and business, they're going to be able to see things differently than they would if they were managing the problem. They begin to see the blessings and the opportunities disguised in the setbacks. And a lot of times, many great things happen as a result of that. Whereas if you're coming from the problem, you might continue to go down that road that's going to take you nowhere fast. So this is where I highly recommend is, you know, coming from a clear mindset and operating from within the solution rather than the problem.
I love it. And I talk to my clients a lot when we help people attract clients and create online presences that just convey who they are to their ideal customers and clients. And a lot of times I find people get stuck in who they are and, you know, what they do. They don't realize that it's really about who the client is and what the client wants, that they're there to provide a solution, and they need to convey that solution. So it sounds to me, and so I go through that with people too on a different level than how you're handling it with them. What is like one step? Give me 3 steps on how people can, like you said, first you become aware of it. So what are some things that people could realize if they're consistently getting stuck in being stuck in the problem? And I can see it. I can see when I talk to people, whether it's in relationships or in business, I can see it. So I kind of know some of these answers.
And it's all the same process, Ron. There's nothing different. That's when people come to me and they say, "Well, I just want to focus on business. Maybe I'll do relationships and my personal well-being later." I said, "Well, you might as well do all 3 because it's all the same process. There's nothing different." So because they all go together, they all affect each other. The 8 pillars of wellness, you know, are all at play here. You know, if something's not going right in your business, that's going to have an impact negatively on your personal well-being and your relationships, and vice versa. So again, I would say that the steps necessary again is to stop looking to the outside for something to solve your problem. There are going to be great products and services out there that are going to help you. However, that being said, that is not the answer in itself. You have to be able to take the responsibility to be able to find where the problem stems from and be able to eradicate it to operate within the solution. So that would be the what I would recommend. And then just making the commitment to embrace the process, because success is about the process. The outcome is what you desire, but if you focus on the outcome, you're going to get lost. You're going to get lost in the big stuff, and then you're going to get thrown off track. Embrace the process, because the process will take you where you want to go if you make that commitment. And having the right habits, disciplines, and goals, and being accountable every step of the way is going to take you there.
Excellent. I love it. And I like the whole personal responsibility, and I'm a big fan of all that. We have about 8 to 10 minutes left. Could you give your contact information?
Sure. Well, the best place to find me is on my website at www.Christopher, and that's with a C, C-H-R-I-S, so it's Christopher Salem, like Salem, Massachusetts.com. You could also find me on Facebook. I have a personal page, Chris Salem, also Christopher Salem Professional, and the Sustainable Success 2017, that's the Facebook page for the radio show, which is on Voice America Influencer Channel.
Nice. And I just want to let the listeners know you're hearing some real gems here from Chris Salem, and this episode, as all episodes, are archived both on WCAP 980 AM's website and my website, rcstechnologysolutions.com. I usually get the clips 2 or 3 days after the event, and then I process them and get them up on the archives and also up on YouTube. So if for some reason you're unable to write down Chris's information, or you want to go back and rehear this great episode, you now have 2 locations in which you can do that. Chris, we have about 7 minutes, and I kind of want to turn it over to you. I can ask you questions and pipe in,
sure.
But talk a little bit about what you do and how you can help people, and maybe you have a free book or a PDF or something you want to give away.
Sure. Well, I mean, what I do is I like to work with people that are are looking to take their business and life to another level, and they're ready to embrace the process. They know that nothing happens overnight, and those people that are willing to invest in themselves and be able to embrace this process are going to get to that level. So, this is what I do with people. I walk them through a process of identifying the problem, to solving the problem, to embracing the solution. And once we embrace the solution, we look to align that with their purpose. And from there, then the hard part happens. Then we got to develop a specific, detailed, time-oriented life and business strategy. So we're gonna have they're big goals for life and business. We're gonna break it down into sub goals. But then we're going to go deeper, where we're going to break it down into smaller attainable goals each day, each week, each month, each quarter, each semi-annual period, each annual period, that will roll up to take them to where they want to be. So if they say in 3 years I'm going to take my business to $3.5 million and 23 cents to the penny, and I'm going to do it by February 26th of 2021. And that's when we're going to do it. We're going to plan that out. And then there's going to be a bunch of sub-goals that will roll up under that. So I work with them to develop this specific life and business strategy so that they have a game plan. And I like to equate it to the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick. This is why teams like Bill Belichick's teams continue to win with average players, because you don't have to be a super talented person to have success when you follow a specific life and business strategy. It's just a matter of putting it together and following it verbatim. That's what's going to take you to the next level, even if you don't have these superior skills and talents. But a lot of people don't operate that way. They shoot from the hip, or they have very vague goals. So that's what's really emphasized once we're operating in the solution. And, of course, I continue to encourage them to invest in themselves and to be accountable every step of the way.
That's huge. And if you look at some of the biggest leaders out there, whether it's Michael Jordan, even you just talked about the Patriots, Tom Brady, all of these people who are at the top of their game invest in themselves through coaches and mentors. And to me, that is so important.
Absolutely. And you're so spot on, Ron. I mean, you look at, like, people like that, I mean, they practice mindfulness. I mean, you don't hear about it, but they do. You know, guys like Mark Cuban, Richard Branson, Tony Robbins. I mean, if you have conversations with these individuals, mindfulness is part of their daily routine every day. So a lot of things we talked about, the meditation, the journaling, the organizational tasks, being laser focused in the moment on each important task, following a life and business strategy. These guys do this stuff. And this is what separates them from others. Doesn't mean that they're better than other people or they're more talented than other people. It's that they're more prepared and focused and disciplined to embrace the process. That's what's the difference.
Yeah, and they also have different results as well. So I really like it, and I found that my clients who invest in themselves, whether they have coaches or they buy a system, systems win, people fail, and part of what I tell people too is that get out of your business. If you're stuck in your business, then you don't have a business, you have a job. Get outside of it, work on your business and not in your business. And what you're talking about kind of ties into that. And I really think people, what you're saying has so much value.
Thank you so much. And I do have a 31-day email clarity program that if they go to the www.christophersalem.com website, it's right in the middle of the page. There's an area where they can just put in their email. We don't spam you with anything at all, but you'll receive every day a list of questions over 31 days that are going to get you to start really thinking about where you are and where you want to be. And certain things that might kind of think about that there is something in there inside of me holding me back. I just don't know where. So this process is going to help get you towards getting you out of a cluttered mindset towards a clear mindset. So it's free, and I encourage anybody that listening to definitely take advantage of that.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Chris. And we're down to like 2 minutes. I really like everything that you've said. Not that that's important. It really matters what our listeners like. But again, I've known you for quite a while, and thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us and giving people 31 days of questions that they can turn around and reflect on and help them understand a little more of the causal factors that may be inhibiting their growth, both professionally and personally. So thank you for that.
Oh, anytime, Ron. It was a pleasure to share this information with the listeners today.
Excellent. Thank you, Chris. And listeners, you've been listening to Chris Salem on the Internet Marketing and Business Solutions radio show with Ron Couming of RCS Technology Solutions, where we help business owners and entrepreneurs achieve even greater success by attracting, converting, and retaining their ideal customers and clients.